there ain't no doubt.
The idea for Peterborough Performs, you'd have to go way back to the spring of 2019, and David Goyette had approached me. David was chair of the United Way campaign, and we'd known each other previously, having worked on a few projects and different things. And he said, hey, good news, I got Showplace for a night. They were very generous to offer up the venue for the United Way if they wanted to put on an event. So I'd like to take credit for the idea of Peterborough Performs, but it really started with David. And he said, I envision something where we can have tons of musicians and a venue upstairs, a venue downstairs, use the whole building, have a great night, just jam-packed full of live Peterborough music.
We saw what was going on downtown last summer, and I live downtown, I work downtown, I walk downtown every day. And we got to do better in Peterborough. And this is a good big first step. So thanks for coming out and supporting.
With what we've seen in Peterborough, especially over the last year in terms of homelessness, the pressure on shelters, we thought, and I think rightly so, that would be a good place to target all the proceeds.
We're here to start this show off and thank everybody for coming and spending your hard-earned cash to help Peterborough's homeless folks.
Yes, and the shelters as well.
And the shelters as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you everybody.
Yeah.
Now we should just say this is the first time ever that the United Way has had an event which is exclusively devoted to raising funds for people with homeless issues and for shelters. So we're real proud of this, and we're real proud that you're here.
Absolutely. Way to go, you guys.
I had 40 to 45 musicians on a list that I kind of targeted to call. Thinking it would take that many to find 15 acts. I went through the first 15 calls and I had a show. So they all said yes.
He asked us about a year ago. I was like, wow, I can't say we're booked. And, that far ahead, we don't really book that far ahead. As big as we are in Japan, and parts of Apsley, we...
Thank you so much. It is an absolute honor to be here tonight.
As soon as Paul, when they messaged us instantly, we're like, we desperately want to be a part of this.
What was really unique, I think, about this event was having music simultaneously in two different locations, upstairs and downstairs. Created a lot of technical challenges, logistic challenges, but really what we envisioned was, I think Meg, who was one of the MCs, alluded to it. It really created sort of like a house party effect, and very, very unique. Something Showplace had never done before, but it worked.
I like it. I'm Meg Murphy.
And I'm Jordan Mercier.
And we are thrilled to be your MCs for the night. We're going to keep things moving along for you. The really cool thing about tonight, though, is it happens up here and downstairs at the same time. It's like a big old kitchen party. You can leave, you can wander around, you can get drinks, you can walk with the drinks, but carefully. Watch the stairs. Not that I've done that before. Same. We also have Andy Tuff from RMS Events. Where are you, Andy? You're right there in the corner. Andy's doing a really cool thing. He's got cameras set up downstairs, and we're going to have a little simulcast up to this screen here, so we can see what's happening downstairs at various points throughout the night. It's pretty neat. Oh, what's happening now? Is that what's happening?
That's what was going on downstairs. There's Jacques right there. Let's get the party started.
Oh, I have hair envy. So much hair envy.
So yes, it's important what Meg was saying is that we want people to get up and circulate, so by no means you're slapped to your chairs. And downstairs there's outstanding silent auction prizes, all of which proceeds going to the United Way. There's Pete's playoff tickets coming up there, there's autographed jerseys, there's lunch with the mayor, which I see has already received a couple of dollars. So
nice.
Outstanding wide range of stuff. There's golf, there's firefighter for a day. I really encourage you to go down to the Nexicom studio and be able to check out what is down there, because there's a lot of cool stuff.
For the first hour of the silent auction, I was a little worried. I thought maybe I was wrong, things weren't happening too much. And then it was like somebody turned on a switch. All of a sudden, people were browsing the table, putting their name down. That little silent auction, it was a lot of work getting stuff together, but that little silent auction drew about $3,400 of the total.
When you're hosting a live music event, the first thing you want people to hear when they walk in the door is music. Jake's brand of acoustic, instrumental music really set the tone for all that followed that evening.
Jacques, we've known each other for a while, and I actually know Jacques through my son. They used to have a band called Levon, which played in Peterborough for a number of years. Jacques was the guitarist, and Pete, my son Pete, was the drummer. So Jacques' been a family friend, and he's a big talent, great guy, and somebody I just wanted there, and he made all the difference in the lounge downstairs for sure. Part of the challenge of this show was trying to get as many musicians as we could on the stage in as little time as we had. I approached Rick and Gailey, and Gailey in particular, and said, you know, I'd really like if we could put together a band that brings in some people that we just couldn't give stage time on their own or with their bands. She agreed it was a great idea, and she did her magic and came up with the Peterborough All-Star Band, which kicked off the show on the main stage and were spectacular.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for supporting the homeless. God bless.
Hillary has the voice of an angel. We had met, I still remember, we had met for the first time at the Silver Bean. I was doing an article on her, and to see the growth and musically that she has undergone has been pretty incredible. And again, Hillary performed in the lounge. It was the perfect setting for her talent. One of the things about this show that really excited me is it gave or empowered people to make a difference individually. We look at something like homelessness, shelters, it's like climate change. You know, it almost seems too daunting. How do we tackle this? How can I make a difference?
I want to say that it really puts the power back into the community when they ask people to donate to take care of the community, and I think that says a lot about the people who care about the community and actually do it. So thank you guys all for actually doing it.
That night, there was a buzz in the room because I think people sensed that they were making a difference. They really felt that.
It's important to me to be able to give back through music, and I think it's amazing that we bring music together and have a fun night of music and be able to give back to those in need. So thank you so much to all of you who bought your tickets tonight, because every single ticket is going to be able to go towards somebody that really needs it.
I hope Phil doesn't take this the wrong way, but I put him up there in the same class as James Higgins. Very quirky, but that's an endearing quality for sure. And Phil was going to perform on his own, but he brought Glenn Caritas with him. Him and Glenn have performed together for a long time as the Paddling Puppeteers, and so it was great to have the both of them there. He's always got a big smile on his face. He's funny as hell, and he was just a great presence in the downstairs lounge.
And, shout out to United Way and of course Showplace, all the people that are volunteering, serving the delicious beverages, and of course you people for showing up, because I sounded like Don Cherry there, sorry. I didn't mean to. For all of us for showing up.
I hear a voice in the morning, now she calls me.
Danny Bronson is a Peterborough treasure, not only for his talent, but also for his willingness to give of his time. Earlier in the United Way campaign, he did a Facebook Live concert. Never really been done before. It raised a few $1,000, but that's Danny. Danny just gives of himself, gives of his time and time again. He really epitomizes for me what the Peterborough music scene is all about.
Take me home.
Elise is someone I personally hold near and dear to my heart. I remember a time way back in the day, she was about 13, and her mom brought her down to Peterborough this week, where I was working at the time, and said, my daughter wants to be a singer, and can you do a story on her? And I said, okay, yeah, we can do that. And she said, yeah, I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to Nashville.
I don't wanna pay this town right now. No, I don't wanna pay this town right now. Baby, I just wanna wind it.
And she ended up working with Cyril Rawson, who's a songwriter based in Peterborough, one of Peterborough's many hidden gems. Worked with Cyril, got down to Nashville, and she's been working ever since, mostly in Toronto. Peterborough Examiner was the print media sponsor, which meant full-page ads in their newspaper, huge. Quarthanel.com was the digital media sponsor. Again, with that sponsorship, we got editorial coverage. Ads were running on their website constantly from well before Christmas.
Here's to all those lessons that I have learned. As the seasons change and all the tables turn, many miles I've flown and all the seeds I've sown.
I don't know a whole lot musically, technically, but I do know two things. Horns make everything better, and so does the fiddle. And Melissa's one of the great fiddle players that you're ever going to hear, and Kate Sir has the voice, of an angel. And together, that combination on the main stage was spectacular.
You need that cow, bring that back in.
Chapters of memories and dead skin I shine.
Anytime I've seen James, I've been thoroughly entertained. I knew anybody who caught his act at Peterborough Performs would be likewise entertained, so he had to be there.
You like that?
Funny guy, talent coming out of his yin-yang, great singer, great guitarist, huge Blue Jay fan, so we get along famously just for that reason alone.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. All right, thank you so much for having a listen. My name is James Higgins. That's irrelevant.
When you talk Austin Carson, you talk energy. I've caught them a couple times at a few different shows. I've done a few stories with Austin himself about his band. Yeah, they just, they give you an honest, hard-working set of music. Very, very talented, hard driving. One of the things when you're organizing the show is you're looking to build momentum over the course of the night. And they're a band that you put near the end of the night, all right? Everybody's been thoroughly entertained. It's all been great, but now it's time to... So Austin Carson Band had to be there, and they fit the bill perfectly.
Nothing but a fool's game.
Victoria is very modest, and it's one of her endearing qualities. And she had a Patsy Cline tribute that she did for years. I'm assuming she still does it from time to time. We had Victoria there. She was with Mike Graham, who is a wonderful guitarist. Anybody who knows Mike knows that. And together as a combination, again, when we were looking at the feel that we wanted to kind of project in the lounge as opposed to upstairs, Victoria and Mike were perfect for the lounge.
It ain't right with love to share when you find it doesn't care for you.
Bill Porter and his group were working very, very closely with Showplace technical staff to make it all come together.
It's beautiful to have a place to do these things and then contribute to things that are far more important than some weirdo standing up here in a toque with his pom-pom dancing and his legs going this way and that way.
Long McQuaid, huge. With a show like this, especially on the main stage when you had so many moving parts and only so much time to do it, if you don't have a backline, you don't have a show. They provided all the backline, tons of equipment that we needed in order to keep that flow going.
And an extra huge special, just find Paul and just hug him and don't say why, he'll understand. Like I must get hugged a lot.
Tammy J. Wild, you know, she has a uniqueness about her and a freshness.
Whether you know which way to go, you seem confused if you really ought to know. Ought to know.
When Tammy J. Wild steps up to a microphone and you're busy doing something else, you stop and you listen.
Oh, you do.
And when she performs with Jimmy Deck, who again, like Mike Green, is just a wonderful guitarist, and I was really delighted at Peterborough Performs that they brought Katie Bath with them. The trio, the three of them, were absolutely spectacular, and it was just great to have them there.
2 martinis and I'm thinking about 4.
Dan Fewings is one of the funniest guys I've ever met. All right, anybody who's met Dan kind of knows that. You know, he's a bigger than life kind of character.
1 martini feels like more. 1 martini and it feels like more.
The 3 Martinis is musical improv, and I was a little concerned about how it would play out on the big stage because musical improv kind of lends itself more to a club kind of setting, and you know, where people can interact a little better than they would in a big theater. But you know what, Dan pulled it off, and it's all about personality.
Put your hands together, Robbie Phillips on that grand piano.
And of course, he was accompanied by 2 of the finest musicians I've ever heard anywhere, and that's Rob Phillips and Ryan Weber. The 3 of them were terrific, and they were able to pull it off, and it was a great part of the show.
I just want to thank all of you for digging into your pockets and coming out tonight for such a worthwhile cause. It really means a lot, so thank you. This is Mr. David Goyette. He's the campaign chair. David?
Yeah, I just want to make special note of all of our corporate sponsors tonight, including Royal Bank of Canada and all the other folks who you see on the screen behind you for donating as well. You should know that everybody involved with this exercise has donated everything for free. Absolutely no one's getting paid. And that allows us to raise the money so that we can distribute the funds for the purpose of homelessness and shelter issues.
David had called me on the Friday morning after the event and said we had a donation, a late donation, and I said, oh yeah, and I just figured to hear, you know, a couple $100 or whatever. Somebody, anonymous, who was at the event, had such a great time, was so impressed, wrote a check for $5,000.
Everything's fleeting.
Nick has been on the Peterborough music scene for a long time, and I know he's been involved with the Peterborough Folk Festival. He also instructs music as well. Spends a lot of his time doing that, passing on, you know, his lessons from music.
Is this feeling that I'm feeling, that I'm feeling?
Wonderful performer, wonderful guitarist, and Nick, sorry I went last, but you did great, and it was so great to have you there.
This is a special night, it's an important night, and for many years I've called Peterborough the land of dreams. And I do that because, I call it that because of nights like this. I've been a lot of places, and nowhere else does it quite like here. When somebody's in need, we all come together for them, and it's a beautiful thing. So thank you to Peterborough, the land of dreams. Thank you all for being a part of it. I want to give you a hand for all showing up here tonight.
At the end of the night, when all was said and done, we were able to raise just over $28,000. All of it, again, going to homelessness and shelters through the United Way. A good bulk of that came from RBC, a very generous donation of $10,000. But the rest came from people like you and me, and just parted with their $50 and were treated to an exceptional night of live entertainment. I don't think there was a headliner there, and the reason I really tried to avoid using that term, because it was important to me and it was important to the audience that everybody who was there was there. But having said that, at the end of the night, you want to go out with a bang, and Ryan and Sam Weber, I'm sure no one would argue this, deliver. They always deliver big time. So talented, so tight. It was just a perfect ending to a perfect evening.